Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nanda. The next speaker is Ayodhya Rami Reddy Alla.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to share a few of our thoughts on the proposed amendments to the Weapons of Mass Destruction and their delivery systems. Prohibition of Unlawful Activities Act 2005. There haven't been any amendments to the Act in the last 16 years of its inception, and I appreciate the introduction of such an important piece of legislation in the Parliament. I would like to share a few of my observations regarding the measures taken by the Centre in this regard. The first point, India has remained on the forefront in matters of disarmament and reiterated the belief that nuclear weapons, which should be abolished in a step-by-step, non-discriminatory process, which is echoed in the bill. Having committed to the policy of no first use since 2003, we have repeatedly stated the use of nuclear weapons would be of punitive retaliation in case of an attack. This bill also promotes our global efforts towards disarmament and strengthening the non-proliferation order, like supporting the Conference of Disarmament for negotiations on an international convention prohibiting the use or threat of use of nuclear weapons and steps to reduce the risks associated. The second point, the United Nations Security Council's Resolution 1540 prevents individuals and organizations, including terrorist groups, from acquiring and spreading nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons and their means of delivery, while imposing obligations on all states regardless of their participation in existing treaties. India has fought a battle against terrorism for many decades. Thus, I wish to again draw the attention to the dangers of proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, as reiterated by our representatives at UNSC, and request the international community to prevent possession and use of weapons of mass destruction by terrorist outfits as per the UNSC recommendations. Next point is on biological weapons, the new threat. We have repeatedly emphasized on following the Biological and Toxin Weapons Convention and pitched for strict compliance on banning production of the entire range of biological weapons of mass destruction. In the recent past, we have seen the widespread effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, with the reports indicating that coronavirus was manufactured in Wuhan Institute of Virology as a bioweapon to mobilize biological warfare, posing it to be dangerous as its nuclear or chemical counterparts. Such looming threats are a real threat, and though our armed forces are trained to prepare for chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear attacks, more efforts ought to be considered. An apex center for chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear emergencies needs to be established on a priority basis, and collaborative training exercises for our forces by institutions engaged in this field could be beneficial to make our first responders to crisis truly first class. Our enhanced international cooperation in science and technology needs to be talked here. There is a need for international cooperation now more than ever to counter the matters relating to the weapons of mass destruction, especially in times of fast developing technology. Efforts for promotion of peaceful use of science and technology through technology transfer, sharing of information and exchange of equipment are being encouraged by India, as indicated in the UNGA resolution on role of science and technology in the context of international security and disarmament. And these efforts could be augmented by facilitating multilateral dialogues along with relevant stakeholders on current developments in science and technology and their potential impact on international security and disarmament efforts. The next point is on increasing criminal liability. In the 2005 Act, for aiding non-state actors or terrorists and violation of other provisions of the Act, there is no mention of an amount which would be liable as a fine. Unauthorized exports of weapons of mass destruction are punishable with fines ranging from 3 lakh rupees to 20 lakh rupees, and only a repeat offence result in imprisonment for a 6-month period, extendable up to 5 years. Offenders convicted under the Act often have strong financial backing and such an amount is minuscule in comparison. Therefore, I urge the centre to levy more severe fines and enforcement on the convicted offenders. I commend the efforts made by the centre to contribute to elimination of weapons of mass destruction and implementing crucial steps to ensure their effective control. This bill is a step forward to counter the threat posed by these weapons, and we from YSR Congress Party support this bill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next